Hello, everybody. How's everybody this morning? Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Sarvan says, I'm here and I got my earbuds in and ready. Good morning, Christina. Good morning, Nana. We have all been waiting for this for how long? Right? I don't know why. Do you guys see the chat on the screen? There's Cat H. Okay. What am I doing here? Good morning. Good morning, Willow. Good morning, Vinny. It is a great morning. You guys, I gotta say, I did not sleep much last night. I had to get back online. I think I came down here, it was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And it was like, I just couldn't sleep. Everything was just going through my head. And it's like, there's two of us that have been here since day one, and that is me and my brother, AK. My brother from a different mother, and here goes my phone is blowing up. Let me just turn this on mute. Okay. All right. And then we had Martin join, and then we had Jules join, and the team has been strong, you guys. Yes, since 2020. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on which time zone you're in. I am in the Eastern time zone, so thank you for that, Summer. There's Git. So if anybody knows this case, it's the four of us. I know Jules, another day in the car, she followed it. She joined our team later on, just after Martin. AK and I started like right at day one. And I've got copies of his interaction with Barry, everything. Like I've got when he went to court. We worked closely. We had a team of about five of us, and we ended up dropping four, and we picked up two more, which is Martin and Jules. And yes, Cat H, the dream team. The dream team for sure. Good morning, Sandra. Okay, so now I'm still trying to figure out, hang on a sec, you guys. Okay, live chat. I'm trying to figure out why the chat is on the screen, because I don't want that there. Because I don't want it overlaying the documents, right? Let me just, okay, here it is, I think here. There we go. There we go. Okay, so we are going to watch a few things this morning. We are going to watch the press conference that was held last night. It was delayed a little bit. We're going to watch that. Then we are going to watch the perp walk. Um, then we are going to read the indictment, and then I've got photos of inside that house and everything. You guys, I've got so much from when this first began. So a little backstory for those who may be new, who don't know the case. Mother's Day, May 2020, Suzanne lost her life at the hands of, which I believe, and this is only my opinion, allegedly, of Barry Morphew, her husband. Her two daughters had taken off. And don't forget, this is in the middle of COVID. This is when COVID first broke out. Everything was shut down. Everybody was told to stay at home when this happened. And all of a sudden, her daughters, for Mother's Day weekend, decide they're going camping, right? These are her two girls that claimed to love her more than life itself decided on Mother's Day that they would be away camping. Barry also, Mother's Day, decided that he was going to do a job in Broomfield that he messed up. And apparently, this was the only time that he could do it, and blah, blah, blah. We found out later that that was not true, that Broomfield didn't even know that he was going to be there. It was to do a retaining wall. It needed heavy equipment, and he showed up with shovels, right? Vera Ray, good morning. So Krabby B says, thank you, Willow. Been with you from the start of this case. Thanks to AK and Martin, too. Yes. Something's gotten the best of him. I'm going to show you the photos, you guys, of Barry. Let me just pull up this so I've got it handy. I will put it over here and show you. I'm going to keep that there. Let's blow that up. So here's the mugshot. He does look rough. If you compare it to the mugshot that he had, let me just pull that up. Why is this not showing? I don't know why that is not showing. Whoops, hang on a sec, you guys. Let me share this differently so you can see. Okay, so this is his mugshot now. And this was his prior mugshot. So let me just adjust this so you guys can see the difference. Whoops, that's not the one that I wanted. Hang on. Hang on, you guys. Oh, for crap's sakes. Okay, there it is there. So this here, let's blow that up. That was his mugshot in 2021. So this happened Mother's Day of 2020. He was arrested a year later in May of 2021. In April of 2022, it was dismissed without prejudice, which means they could bring back charges again if they found Suzanne's body or if new information came to light. This was at the hands of, everybody knows this name, disgraced Linda Stanley. the DA. She's since lost her job. She really bungled this case, you guys. So this is the difference between 2021, when he was arrested, and now. He looks rough. He then filed a $15 million lawsuit for false arrest and all this stuff, which was, now I don't know if the courts threw it out or if he decided he wasn't going to go through with it, because then he would be open to be deposed, which he could implicate himself even further. So once Suzanne was reported missing in 2020, within a couple of months, this is what he did. He got rid of her vehicle. He got rid of all her clothes and everything. He bought and sold property. The house that on Puma Path that they were living in at the time was purchased with Suzanne's inheritance. It was sold. He sold it. He listed it in November of 2020. So figure May, June, July, August, September, October, November, 6 months. Like, he knew she wasn't coming back. Her clothes all gone, everything that she owned gone, any remnants of Suzanne gone, right? And the house. He sold it for $1.625 million. He had also bought another property just like a month after Suzanne went missing, where he was going to build a house for his mother, okay? On Longhorn Drive, not far from the Puma Path property. He bought that in June, like a month after she went missing. He bought it for, I think, $165,000, that lot, just for the lot. No house on it. He was going to build. And then in February of 2021, so say like 6 months later, 7 months later, he sold it for $150,000. He took a $15,000 loss on that. He then screwed off after he sold the Puma Path. He sold Longhorn. He screwed off and he went back to Arizona. And what I find funny about that, you guys, is they were living in Arizona, and Barry convinced Suzanne to move to Colorado for a better life, better for the girls, better this, better that, everything better, right? Suzanne didn't want to leave Arizona. She loved her home in Arizona. She didn't want to leave. So with her inheritance, they bought the house in Colorado on Puma Path. And it wasn't long. They weren't there long. I think a year or two before this happened. And as soon as she's gone, he hightails it back to Arizona, where he claimed he didn't want to be anymore. He owed all kinds of money to all kinds of different people. He had businesses there that he screwed people over, business dealings where he screwed people over. And the funny thing is when he went back to Arizona after his case was dismissed without prejudice, he bought another house, he bought property, he opened another business, but it's all under the daughter's names, not under his. It's under the daughter's names. Indiana. I thought it was Arizona. Is it Indiana? Oh, they were from Indiana and he took off to Arizona? Yeah, Nana says not only has Linda Stanley lost her job, she's been disbarred. Yeah, I have that in the description below the video here. Good morning, Shannon's Copper. Good morning, Karen. I don't know how much money of that he's got left, and I think it's all been stashed away under his daughter's names. He was arrested in Gilbert, Arizona. Gilbert, Arizona. Isn't that where Lori and Chad Daybell? Okay, they're from Indiana. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you, Summer. Keep me on my toes. I stand corrected. Thank you. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into this. Let's get into this. Let me get rid of these two photos because I have other photos I want to bring up. So let's get into this, you guys. We're going to watch the presser first. Right here. When it starts, please put a 1 in the chat if you can hear it so I know that you can hear it. Okay, so here it is. Let's get going. And then we're going to go over the perp walk, and then we are going to go over the indictment, and then I'm going to show you the photos from inside of that house, and we're going to go to maps, and I'm going to show you maps from that we started between me and AK. We started this back in 2020. So let's go.
I appreciate the members of the media that are here today. I scheduled this briefing to provide an update on the investigation that has been in the hearts and minds of the people of Chaffee County since Mother's Day of 2020. Suzanne Morphew was reported missing on Mother's Day 5 years ago. Law enforcement has never stopped working to obtain justice for this mother of two, this daughter, this sister, and this beloved member of the Chaffee County community. Through the tireless efforts of the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office, the Saguache County Sheriff's Office, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation, and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, I can announce today that the 12th Judicial District Grand Jury returned an indictment. The grand jury has indicted Barry Morphew on the single count of murder in the first degree. Law enforcement, the Chaffee County community, and Colorado as a whole has never stopped fighting for justice for Suzanne. Cold case homicides are tremendously difficult. They're difficult for the families of the victims and the communities who wait patiently for answers. While it may seem at times that the world forgets about these victims, I can assure you that my law enforcement partners and Colorado's law enforcement community do not forget. Every unsolved murder is a tragedy, and we must never give up on our efforts to find answers in these cases. My office will be prosecuting the indictment as Suzanne's remains were found in Saguache County, which is a county within my jurisdiction, the 12th Judicial District. I am extremely appreciative of Michael Doherty, who is the elected district attorney in Boulder County. He has consistently committed material resources to small rural DA's offices like mine to assist in the sometimes Herculean efforts to bring justice for victims in rural areas of our state. His commitment to rural Colorado he's continued his commitment with this case. He's provided me with the assistance of a chief deputy in the Boulder County District Attorney's Office to assist me with the investigation and the prosecution. Colorado's community of prosecutors is committed to assisting wherever the need arises. In addition to Mr. Doherty's assistance, District Attorney John Walsh of the Denver District Attorney's Office has committed to providing me with appellate guidance during the case proceedings. So today I have with me Chaffee County Sheriff Andy Rorick. I stand united with Sheriff Rorick and Under Sheriff Alex Walker. I stand united in announcing this indictment. Through this process, I have seen firsthand how deeply Sheriff Warwick and Under Sheriff Alex Walker and the entire Sheriff's Department in Chaffee County cares about this case. I am proud and appreciative of our cross-jurisdictional partnership and their hard and excellent work. I also stand with the Federal Bureau of Investigation, who has never wavered in its commitment to this investigation, providing essential intelligence and investigative resources and expertise through the years. I also recognize and appreciate our continued partnership with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. The Colorado Bureau of Investigation has done incredible work, and their CBI agents and analysts have worked very, very hard to advance the goal of finding answers in this investigation. Here representing the CBI is Agent in Charge Chris Adams with CBI's Pueblo office. I also stand with Saguache County Sheriff Dan Warwick, who is here with me as well. He and his office immediately answered the call to action, when Suzanne's remains were found in the county he represents. Sheriff Warwick and his deputies are an essential part of this team, responding to the recovery of Suzanne's remains with the highest level of dignity and professionalism. I also want to continue to recognize what I have come to expect in my years as a prosecutor, and that is multi-jurisdictional and multi-state cooperation and partnership. I want to recognize the Arizona Department of Public Safety, who immediately responded to our team's request for assistance in locating and arresting Barry Morphew in the Phoenix area. Mr. Morphew will be held by Arizona authorities pending extradition proceedings in that state. And upon conclusion of those proceedings, Mr. Morphew will be transported to Alamosa County to stand trial on the indictment. This indictment has been unsealed upon the arrest of Mr. Morphew. I asked for this briefing to provide you with an update and provide information to the community. Me and my team recognize the importance of being laser focused on the prosecution and to speak with one voice. And so for that reason, all of the agencies that have been involved in getting us to this place, as well as the prosecutors that have been willing to assist me in this investigation and prosecution, they have all been instructed to send any media requests to my office, and so that's what I'd ask of you. In an effort to be transparent, I'd like to thank the the Office of the Judicial District in this district for making the indictment immediately available, and so you can get a copy of that indictment on the State Judicial's website. It is linked on a page labeled Cases of Interest, and it's under Alamosa. Barry Morphew is presumed innocent in this case, and that presumption remains with him unless and until he is convicted at trial. And so once again, thank you for allowing me to provide an update to the community on this very important case. And I can take a couple of questions if you have them. Yes, sir.
What was Barry doing in the Phoenix area?
And thank you for the question. The question was, what was Barry doing in the Phoenix area? I appreciate the question, and that information was still being gathered. We have been working very, very hard to make sure that we run down anything we can with respect to this investigation, and our law enforcement officers will certainly be following that. Yes, sir.
In the indictment, you noted that pharmacological expert testified that BAM would render the recipient unable to resist any constrictions to the recipient's ability to breathe. Do you believe the dosage of BAM was so great it killed her, or that she was so incapacitated she was strangled or something?
And thank you for that question. I am looking forward to having our team present all of those facts in a court of law. Obviously, I would like to be able to provide my comments, but my ethical obligations will not allow me to. However, I am very appreciative of the Judicial Department for making that indictment available, and I look forward to having our team present this case in court. Yes, ma'am.
Why now?
That's a great question. And so we as prosecutors in Colorado and law enforcement in Colorado, we are very dedicated to making sure that we don't forget the victims of cold case homicides. But we also understand that it is so important to make sure that we have done everything we can to bring a case to court. And we are proud of the work that we've done. Every victim of homicide, murder in Colorado deserves that kind of attention, deserves that kind of work from law enforcement. And I would say that having the opportunity to work on these cases and to bring justice for these victims has been very important to me. Yes? Yeah, let me.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Was Morphew surprised at all when he was taken arrested? Was he expecting this?
And thank you for that question. The question is whether or not Morphew, what Mr. Morphew's reaction was. And I can tell you that that's going to be part of the case, and we look forward to presenting that in front of a jury. Yes, sir.
So the male DNA was found in Suzanne's car. Are you guys moving forward? Are you guys using that evidence for this trial? Tell us more about that.
And thank you for that question. The indictment has a wealth of information about that particular topic, as well as the probable cause that supports the arrest in this case. And obviously, we are going to do everything we can to make sure that justice is done for Suzanne, and that includes being as thorough as we can about the facts of the case.
Another question. When you arrest Barry in Arizona, so that's still investigating right now with Arizona law enforcement?
So the Arizona Department of Public Safety has been an incredible partner for us. They organized immediately when we asked them to respond when we received the indictment. So I very much want to thank the Arizona Department of Safety. What about you, sir?
What will be the biggest difference between the prosecution of this case and the time versus back in 2021?
And the question is, what would be the difference between the prosecution of this case and other prosecutions? You know, justice for cold case homicide victims remains a priority in the state of Colorado, both for prosecutors and for law enforcement. And that's despite any challenges that we may have had in the history of any particular case. That remains a priority for us. And so we have worked very hard to move forward in the case. This case is a different case, and I would refer you back to the indictment in this case. And we've worked very hard to move forward. Yes, sir.
On an emotional level or on a personal level, and it's okay if you repeat yourself, can you talk about the journey, your journey from the day this was dismissed until today? Just broad strokes, just tell us that story.
Well, thank you for that question. The question is, what has this process looked like, essentially? What has this process been like for the family, for the community, for our law enforcement partners? And I can tell you that it has been a long road. It has been a long road, and the families of the victim have been so patient. The community has been so patient. But I can tell you that our law enforcement officers have never forgot, have never given up, and they have been working so hard to get to the place where we are today. And so it is never enough to say we're just going to forget about it because it's too hard. And so that has been the process for me. And I'll take maybe one more question here in the front.
Can you elaborate further on where Suzanne's remains were found in relation to Moffat? I know it's undisclosed, but can you provide any more detail about where she was found?
So it was in and around the town of Moffat, and that raises an important question that I want to address. And so the remains of Suzanne Morphew were found in Saguache County, and that's obviously a county in my jurisdiction. And so jurisdiction in this county is appropriate. I can tell you that I have reached out to and contacted my friend and colleague, elected District Attorney Jeff Lindsay, who currently covers Chaffee County. He is in full support of our efforts to prosecute this case here and has committed to providing any resources that we need to prosecute this case.
How did you know Morphew was in Arizona?
And the question is I'm sorry, can you say that again?
How did you know Barry was in Arizona?
And I appreciate that question. We obviously have never given up on this investigation. And so working with our law enforcement partners, we were able to make that determination.
Could anyone else possibly face charges?
So right now we have the indictment in front of us, and we're committed to working hard to get that done. So, and this will be the last question. Thank you so much.
Just one last question. From a community perspective, this community's been through a lot with the District Attorney's Office, and we've watched you take it over and repair it, stand here with law enforcement, something this community might not have seen in the past. We've watched you build a staff. Now we're at the point where we've got all kinds of television cameras here because you've done what you've done in this particular case. Speak to what kind of satisfaction you have and gotten here, and is the job done with your staff, and can you now move forward?
Well, and thank you. The question relates to the status of our district attorney's office and how where we've been in the last 3 years. And thank you for the question. The effort that we undertook to come to the San Luis Valley, that I undertook to come to the San Luis Valley and build the district attorney's office was quite tremendous. But I can tell you that the collaboration of prosecutors across the state to assist me, to assist my staff, to assist law enforcement has been absolutely tremendous. It is a testament to how strong our law enforcement community is and how united the prosecutors in the state of Colorado are. And so assisting me in building the office in the San Luis Valley, that is a testament to the assistance that I've received across the state. So thank you for the question.
Thank you for what you've done.
One last question, and when do you expect Barry Morphew to show up in court?
Thank you. So he's currently being held by the authorities in Arizona. He will go through a process of extradition, and when that process concludes, he will be then transported back to Colorado. So thank you so much.
3 years after the case was all right, so now we are going to, Summer, we were both clear to that. That was, I believe, and so does Kurt, and you guys know him as AK. We were both cleared of it. Kurt showed up at court. I have the full transcript of that. And they were trying to say that I came from Canada and I was in the courtroom and I was secretly recording and all kinds of shit. And we were both cleared. So, yeah. Summer says, I know, I just about spat my coffee out all over. Yeah, we were mentioned in court and everything. It's like his lawyer, Iris Eaton, did not like me and AK because we were on this since day one. This is before Jules and Martin jumped on board with us. And he has a new lawyer, Iris Eaton, office closed. It's going to be interesting to see who he gets. But yeah, we were cleared of any wrongdoing. We were just repeating what we were getting through tweets. At the time, it was Twitter. What we were getting from tweets that was coming out of the courthouse, or we were watching the live stream and we were just reporting what we were hearing. We didn't stream it. So, good morning, Looby Loo. Sharon. Oops, there's Looby Loo. Good morning, Sharon. Yeah, he was on it. He was on it like flies on poop. Okay, so that's that one. So the next one we're going to watch, and if you guys don't know who this is, let's share this. This is Tube Crime. We're going to see some stuff from Tube Crime. I don't want to say too much about Tube Crime because I don't know if he wants to be known who he is. But, like I said, for those of you saying and wondering about how AK is doing and this and that, there's stuff that happened behind the scenes that nobody knows about. the information that they brought out, I'm sure, is going to be used in this trial. They were a big, big help in the GPS stuff and stuff like that. Like, they're two smart guys, I'm telling you. But Two Crimes back, and I'm sure that you will be seeing AK and Martin, as well as Jules, another day in the car. So with that being said, this is from Tube Crime. If you have not subscribed to Tube Crime, I will link his channel in the chat as soon as we're done watching this. You can go and check out his videos that he's done on Barry Morphew. So without further ado, let's go ahead and watch this. That was really quick, but there is Barry Morphew. He's turning his head away from the cameras. Let me see if we can slow this down. Half speed. Let's see. Let's start that over and we will go half speed. There he is. There's another guy in front. You'll see them make him wait while they take him there. He goes there. He's going to go in this door right here. They make this guy go to the side. He's coming, guys. You see him here. There he is right there, trying to hide behind the wall. There he is, you guys. And then they call the other guy in. So if you want to see the rest of this video, you guys, go on over. I will get you the link to Two Crimes channel. Hang on a second here. There we go. There we go. There's the link to his channel. Go and check out his channel. He's got a lot of videos on Barry Morphew. A lot of videos on Barry Morphew. So go on over and check out his channel. Very cryptic, a lot of the stuff, but if you know, you know. Okay? So before we get to this, I want to... Now, do you guys want to see the indictment first, or do you want to see the photos of the house? Yay, thank you. His mugshot says it all. Yeah, we showed his mugshot. Now, do you guys want to go over the indictment first, or do you want to go over the photos of the house? It's up to you guys. Whatever you guys want, that's what I'm going to do. And don't forget, this house was built, or was bought with Suzanne Morphew's inheritance that she got. You want to go over the house first? Okay, I got one for the house. The house, everybody wants to see the house first? Okay, let's do that. Let me get them up here. Whoops. Let me share this. There's no audio, so. Okay, so we will be going over maps also, and I will show you our maps from when we first took on this case. So this is the house. This here is all his property. All of this here is his property. Well, his and Suzanne's. But this is the house. We've got inside photos. He did sell the house 6 months. He put it on the market 6 months after she went missing. He put it on the market for $1.75 million, and he sold it 6 months later for $1.625 million. Okay, so let's go to the photos. So here's the photo. Let's go a little bigger so you guys can see it better. So here is the front part of the house. This part here is up on a hill. This is the garage. This is the breezeway here. So when you hear that she was sunbathing in the breezeway, it was behind this garage and breezeway behind the house. You'll see it in further photos. So this is behind the house. This is the area where she was sunbathing. He says, the day that she went missing. This is the creek that runs behind the house. This is all behind the house. I have better pictures of this somewhere, you guys. It's just, I transferred computers. So I've got to go to my other computer and transfer them back to my OneDrive so I can have everything now that this is back up in the courts. So I have everything now on this computer. This is all part of their property. This is out the back. This is the river that runs behind. We're going to get to the inside. This is the driveway coming up into the house. So here's the front entrance of the house. Here's the garage here. You've seen it in the overview. That's why I showed it first. This is the breezeway that leads from the garage into the house. This is the front door of the house. This is the living room. And this is where we found the picture of the blue blanket that we found. And there's a picture of one of the daughters with that exact blue blanket that we seen in Aurora. The master bedroom is down this hallway. We will see photos of that. This leads out to the back. This is a laundry room. And then their bedroom is further down the hall. The kitchen is to the left of this. Upstairs are the girls' bedrooms and bathrooms. They each have their own bathroom. It's a better angle of it. So this is the laundry room. They keep going down this hall, and that's their bedroom. There's the stairs going up. This is the living room to this door here. This leads out the front. Sorry. This leads out the back over here. So that this is where you'd come in that front door. As you can see, this is the laundry room. You would continue down this hall, and that's the master bedroom. We'll see the photos. This here is out the back, and you will see that this house had all these moose heads and everything. Yeah, the blanket, Summer, and the suitcase that we found that somebody messed with before we could get it out of the water. Like you can see, this house was him. Suzanne didn't like the killing of animals. Look at the antlers for a chandelier, dead animals on the walls. Like every bedroom has the same theme. And she was not one that liked animals being killed. This is another animal lamp. So this is looking down from upstairs. Here you can see the back patio. There's the hot tub. She was sunbathing over here further. Like you go out these doors and you turn right and go towards the breezeway. So there's a shot where you can see part of the backyard. Now, all this stuff was touched by Barry and the police without gloves on. as was her bike when her bike was found. Oh, I remember this case, Summer Dawn, like it was yesterday, right from the first day that this happened. More of outside the back. The hot tub is on the other side of these chairs here. This is the kitchen that also looks out over the back. More of the kitchen. More of the kitchen. This area, you will see it. There's like kind of like a desk in that over there. You will see pictures of that. There's the dining area. More of the kitchen. There's the dining area. And look at like hunting stuff everywhere. Look at even on the table. Deer antlers. Like, I don't know any woman that, see another one here. This is like a little nook off the kitchen, and there's the living room. Everything is like the killing of animals. Like, look at even here on the walls, the, light shades. Now, here's the master bedroom. Under the bed here is where they found the shotgun shell. I wonder if they fixed the bedroom door, because the bedroom door did look like the framing of it, like on this is the bathroom, but on the bedroom door frame going in, these are closets. But on the entrance to the bedroom door, the door frame here was broken as if it had been kicked in. This is their master bath. Like, look at even in the bedroom, antlers. Like, I don't know a woman that would want this. This was Barry. More of the master bedroom, like even on the couch, moose. Everything has to do with hunting and dead animals. The bedroom door to come in is right over here at the end of this couch. Go over a bit, and the entrance to the bedroom is there. I don't know if we get a shot of the bedroom door, but it looked like it had been kicked in. This is the master bathroom. This is the tub. The shower is over here. There it is there. This just brings back really bad memories. So you can see the master bedroom there. This is an entrance into the closet. There's also a closet door on the other side. There's the toilet, sorry. The closet's on the other side of this and on each side of the bathroom. Here's the shower. Now, this is one of the daughter's bedrooms. Look at even antlers in here. Now, I noticed that there's a ceiling fan in here, and other than this pillow, not much in this bedroom. I could see one of the daughters saying, I don't want this. Now, not this bedroom. The other bedroom is the bed that apparently Suzanne had gone to sleep in the night that we believe this happened. I think this is Mallory's bedroom, and this is her bathroom. This is Macy's bedroom, and this is the bedroom, and you can see, I think Macy's the oldest one, and she was the one that was tight with her dad, that went hunting with her dad. This is the bedroom that Suzanne had slept in instead of the master bedroom. Mother's Day Eve, I think it was. And the sheets and everything taken off this bed and whatnot and thrown in the washer. I have pictures of that also. But again, the moose and everything. And this is Macy's view and Macy's bathroom. This is the guest bedroom. I believe this is in the basement. And it does have its own bathroom also. There's another bedroom back here. Anyway, this is the house again. So that was the house. Let me just get rid of that so it's not taking up space, because I want to bring up Google Earth. Okay, I'm going to keep this here while we watch. While we go through the indictment, because then we'll go to maps after. I'll show you a quick peek. This is the mapping that we did for different areas. So we will go over that once we go through the indictment. Here is the indictment. Hello, Regina. Macy's the youngest. Okay, so that was Mallory's room with the moose. You guys, it has been so long, and you guys know my memory, but there's some of this that just never will go away. Okay, so this indictment is 10 pages. Let me get this. Whoops. Jeez. Ugh. It's not what I meant to do, guys. Sorry. Hello, Willow. Everyone was running errands so late. That's okay. You're here now. Okay, so let's go over the indictment. A lot of this is going to, for all you subscribers and that have been here since the beginning, a lot of this is going to be refreshing your memory. All stuff that we had. I still have all the paperwork from the first time he was charged. I have, let me just see if I can, I'll bring it up after this because I don't want my, okay. We'll go over it afterwards. I've got other documents that I want to show you from when he was first arrested. There's Butterfly Dana. Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's get going on this. Okay, so the 12th Judicial District and Grand Jury Indictment. Now, Barry Morphew doesn't have any lawyers listed here. Usually they would have his lawyer listed here if they knew he already had one. Okay, count one. Redrum in the first degree. First degree means premeditated, you guys. Okay? Count one. On or about May 9th to May 10th, in or triable in the state of Colorado, Barry Morphew unlawfully, feloniously, oh, Willow, don't start jumbling today. Don't do it. Give myself a pep talk there. After deliberation and with the intent to cause the death of a person other than himself, caused the death of Suzanne Morphew in violation of Section 18.3.102, subsections 1A CRS. Probable cause for count one as follows. At 5:46 p.m. on May 10th, Mother's Day, Sunday, Suzanne Morphew was reported missing to police by her neighbor. The last known person to see her alive was her husband, Barry Morphew. Investigators responded to the Morphew residence at 19057 Puma Path near Salida, Colorado, to investigate the missing persons report. The house was locked and Suzanne Morphew was not home. Her vehicle was in the garage. I believe this was, I think it was, yes, trigger warnings. Summer, was it? It was a Jeep, wasn't it? Or was it a Range Rover? It was either a Jeep or a Range Rover. I have to go back through the documents, you guys. Anyway, her vehicle was in the garage. There were no signs of forced entry, and her bike was missing. Later that evening, her bike was located down a hillside off a dirt road between her house and Highway 50. Now, before her bike and all that was found, you guys, I did a read, and I said in that read, he threw that bike in the back of his truck and the helmet and everything, and he disposed of it. He did it. I stood fast on that, even when it was dismissed, and I got all kinds of hate and everything else. See, it was dismissed. I have stood fast that he did it. My cards don't lie. So it may have taken 5 years to get here again, but we're here. The bike was located less than a mile from the Morphew home. On May 14, 2020, her bike helmet was located 10 meters off the side of Highway 50, approximately 1.52 miles west of the Morphew home and approximately 0.84 miles west of where her bike was located. Okay, it was a Range Rover. Okay. I knew it was one of the two, but it was sold pretty quickly after she went missing. Now, if you guys remember, if you don't, I'm going to remind you guys. When Barry Morphew was interviewed by the police, he never said that he had gone left onto Highway 50. But once they got his GPS and everything, they found that he did go west. And then he had some cockamamie story of chasing a moose out of season to get their antlers, which would have already been dropped. And that's where they found her bike helmet, where he went. We will see that on mapping once we're done this. Barry Morphew was interviewed and told police that he set his alarm and woke up at 4:30 a.m. on May 10th, 2020. He told police that he had left at 5 a.m. on May 10th, 2020 for a pre-planned work trip to Broomfield, Colorado. A work trip where he only took a shovel and a rake and whatever for a job that was going to require bulldozers and everything else. And it was a work site that was for the city of Broomfield, who then said they had no idea that he would be going there to do this work. There was no work forms for it, no authorization for it, nothing. Okay, especially on Sunday, on Mother's Day. Anyway, according to Barry Morphew, Suzanne Morphew was still asleep in bed when he left the house at 5 a.m. on May 10, 2020. He told police she planned to ride her bike that day. They lived in Indiana, moved to Colorado, then he moved back to Indiana, then he went to Arizona. Yeah, I knew he had gone back to Indiana at some point to where they had left, right? Which is, anyway. Barry Morphew stated that upon arriving in Broomfield that morning, he checked into a hotel before leaving shortly after for the job site. Why would you need to check into a hotel? It doesn't make any sense. Where were we? Before leaving shortly after for the job site, he told police that he received a call around 5 p.m. on May 10th, 2020 from his neighbors while physically at the Broomfield job site, which is a cockamamie bull because we got him in the motel room from noon on until he got this call. He was only at the job site like maybe I think half an hour or 20 minutes. We'll see when it gets through the documents again. Just want to say, in a crazy world, this makes my heart a little happier. Yes, Shannon, I agree. He told police that he received a call around 5 p.m. on May from his neighbors while physically at the Broomfield job site. He was not. He was in his motel room. The neighbors told Barry that his daughters were concerned because they could not reach Suzanne all day. Barry instructed the neighbors to check the house and specifically to look for her bike. Sorry for the cough, you guys. The neighbors reported to Barry that neither Suzanne nor the bike were at the house, and Barry then instructed them to call the sheriff. Why would you immediately tell them to call the sheriff unless you knew what happened to her? I'm going to try and get this coffee into me. I'm going to stick a halls in my mouth again, you guys. Like, the struggle is real with these allergies. Okay. Police reviewed one of Barry's employees scheduled to assist him with the Broomfield job. The employee told law enforcement that the employee and Barry were not planning to leave for Broomfield until the evening hours of May 10th. Ding, ding, ding. They were supposed to drive together. Instead, Barry left without telling the employee. Ding, ding, ding. Barry called the employee approximately 11:18 a.m. and informed that employee that he had left without them. When the employee arrived in Broomfield on Sunday evening, the employee noticed that Barry Morphew had failed to bring the proper tools with him for the job and the necessary materials for the job that had not yet arrived at the job site. Right? Review of the cameras at the hotel and nearby businesses revealed that Barry Morphew was in the Broomfield area for approximately 9 hours and 45 minutes. Of those hours, he spent less than 1/2 hour at the job site. Yet he told police that he was on the job site when he got the call, right? Instead, besides 2 brief visits to the job site area, electronic devices and cameras from the businesses showed him driving around to various locations and discarding unknown items in separate trash cans. Hello, shortcake. Hotel footage then showed Barry Morphew arriving back at his hotel room and remaining inside the room from approximately 12:34, right, to 5:55 p.m. Inconsistent with his statement to police, he was in the hotel and not at the job site when he received the call about his wife Suzanne being unresponsive and missing. Okay, so what I want to bring up to you guys, I hope this shows. Let me just see if you guys can see this. Okay. See this? See this stuff? There's garbage cans behind him. There's garbage cans down here. This is some of the stuff that he was discarding. Okay? I'm going to show you another photo. Let me just find it. Here it is. There's one there. Okay, you see this photo? He's got a change of boots, everything, you guys. Look at this. What's in these bags? Don't forget Suzanne's, some of Suzanne's stuff was missing also. He's got a bunch of paperwork. Look at this. What's he bringing? What's he getting rid of? Right? I told you that I had the picture. Let me just make sure that you guys can see this. You can. Here's the photo of the blue blanket that we had found with all these little white things on it and everything. Exactly the same, the blanket. This is the 2 daughters. This is in the living room. We found that blue blanket. I'm also going to show you. This is as we're going. Here's Barry Morphew again at the motel. Look at this. Here is the stuff in the dryer where they found the BAM that they found in her system when they found her in September, right? So this is clothes that he had washed for some reason. Who knows? Lord only knows, right? What else did I want to show you? This is the stuff. Whoops. This is the stuff that was found in her purse. We can go over these. I got better photos of these, you guys. I just wanted to get these. Okay, so here's him entering the motel with a shovel and a rake. And you're going to do a whole huge retaining wall that stands like 5 feet to 6 feet tall. Where you got to dig into the side of the off-ramp and everything. No. When they arrested him, he had, He had these marks on him. Look at that. That looks like nail marks to me. Somebody fighting for their life. Hang on a sec. Oh, you guys can't see it no more? Hang on. Where is it? There it is. Can you guys see that? Yes. Okay. Marks on his hands. Looks like somebody grabbing at his hands and his arm. Like, that looks like a nail mark. Even more so, these look like nail marks, claw marks from somebody's hand. Look at that. Thumb and fingers. Anyway, we'll keep that there. Okay. So he failed to bring the proper tools. I just showed you the photos of what he brought, a shovel and a rake. And this retaining wall that he had to do, I'll show you. When we go to maps, I'll show you. And you'll see, like, these are big, huge rocks that they had to move and everything. You can't do that without dozers and stuff, okay? Review of the cameras at the hotel and nearby businesses revealed that Barry Morphew was in the Broomfield area for approximately 9 hours and 45 minutes. We read this. Okay, so inconsistent. Okay. In the early interviews with Barry Morphew, he told law enforcement that his marriage to Suzanne Morphew was the best and that the two had a wonderful weekend together. When Barry was asked whether Suzanne would say anything different about their relationship, Barry said, no. We know because we seen the text messages to her sister and to her friend saying that she wanted a divorce. She wanted away from him. She was tired of his BS. She just wanted to leave. She wanted to do things amicably and nicely and whatnot. He knew she wanted gone from him. Not in this way. Barry Morphew's statements about his marriage to Suzanne were inconsistent with other witness accounts and evidence located. They got all these messages off her phone. Specifically, investigators learned that Suzanne confided in people that she was unhappy in the marriage in the weeks and months leading to her disappearance. She discussed plans to divorce Barry Morphew with her close friend. She maintained documents, notes of problems in the relationship recovered from electronic devices and the physical search of the Morphew home. Suzanne Morphew had been having a secret affair with an old acquaintance who lived out of state. She communicated with him daily over LinkedIn and WhatsApp. Suzanne's last known electronic messages to anyone was this person on May 9th. We know who that was, right? At 2:11 p.m., just 32 minutes before Barry Morphew returned to home that day. And that's when I think he did everything to her, was May 9th. An overall timeline of the week of Suzanne Morphew's disappearance shows that the disappearance coincided with her daughter, I think that says Macy, the only other occupant of the Morphew residence, leaving on a pre-planned road trip out of state. Or I think that's Macy, because Macy was still living at home. And Macy and her and Suzanne had conversations, and Macy had told her, Mom, if you're not happy, just leave him, divorce him, leave him. And then she denied saying that stuff, but it's in text messages. Because of this, Suzanne Morphew and Barry Morphew expected to be alone at their residence starting on May 5th until either late in the day, May 10th, or into May 11th. Suzanne Morphew drove Macy to Gunnison, Colorado on May 5th to depart with her sister and friend on the planned road trip. After May 5th, Barry Morphew and Suzanne Morphew were alone at the house. Hey, K. Mitch. A forensic download of Barry Morphew's cell phone revealed that Barry Morphew had deleted a text chain with Suzanne Morphew from which an image of a single text remained. A screenshot of this single text message was saved on Barry Morphew's phone on May 6th. That image revealed a text from Suzanne that stated, I'm done. I could care less what you're up to and have been for years. We just need to figure this out civilly. On May 11th, authorities commenced a search of the Morphew residence that spanned several days. The state of the residence and vehicles showed no signs of a break-in or intruder. Even with no signs of a break-in or intruder, law enforcement collected items of potential evidence and DNA swabs. DNA analysts of the swabs collected produced several DNA profile mixtures consistent with what would be expected in the common areas of a home or a vehicle. The mixture profiles were processed through offender databases and were compared to profiles of known individuals who may have been present in the vehicles or the residence. The results did not lead to any stranger or intruder suspects. Now, remember that they had found fingerprints of a male from either Arizona or Indiana or something that was a convicted felon, blah, 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 blah. But they were also said that he worked at a garage. So those fingerprints could have been from when he did work on her car. We don't know. But we'll see. An expert in DNA analyst testified that law enforcement provided analysts with one of the partial profiles developed from the glove box of Suzanne Morphew's vehicle for further investigation using a keyboard search. This allowed for additional comparisons to profiles in more databases with less stringent quality control standards than the National DNA Index System, for the limited purpose of creating possible investigative leads. That expert further testified that there were matches to outside databases nationwide. The term match used by DNA analysts does not mean identical. Rather, a match only means that there were other profiles that could not be excluded at the time at the limited number of loci available from the partial profile for comparison. Now, I did a whole thing on fingerprints. Now, don't forget, this was also a used vehicle, right? So they didn't buy the Range Rover new, they bought it used. The expert explained that she then compared the matches from those databases to the partial profile from a mixture on the glove box and excluded those out-of-state profiles as not originating from the same contributor in all but 3 instances. Finally, the expert explained that just because the profiles from those databases matched at the limited loci available for comparison, it did not mean that any of the people from the out-of-state profiles were the same person that contributed to the partial profile to the mixture on the glove box. Law enforcement investigated those 3 partial matches obtained from 3 separate out-of-state sources and found no connection to the case. So either they had rock-solid alibis and everything for when Suzanne went missing, that they couldn't be connected to the case, okay? Law enforcement located a locked gun safe in the garage during the search of the Morphew residence. Inside that gun safe, law enforcement located a dart rifle, or a tranquilizer rifle, positioned toward the front of the safe. Law enforcement also found packages of Penu Dart brand tranquilizer darts in the gun safe. The packages of darts included capped hydromet needles inside of them, which were designed to load the darts. Law enforcement found one of these needle caps in the dryer after the dryer's contents were removed. Okay, so let's go here. And the thing is that the shorts that Barry had on that day were in the dryer. So did he put the cap in his pocket, totally forgetting about it? And when he washed and then dried his shorts, the cap was found in the dryer. And here's the photo of that. Okay? Law enforcement also found men's shorts among the contents of the dryer that were removed prior to finding the needle cap. The shorts appeared consistent with the shorts Barry Morphew was seen on video wearing on May 9th. Oops, forgot the cap, just like Brian Kohlberger forgetting the sheath. Less than 1 hour before he returned to the Morphew residence, no tranquilizer formula was located during the law enforcement search of the home and vehicles. Police investigated numerous electronic devices and Suzanne Morphew's social media accounts, searching, among other things, for proof of life. That investigation revealed that Suzanne Morphew had not communicated electronically with any living person after 2:11 p.m. on May 9th. Her last possible activity on any account protected by password access was 3:08 p.m., over 24 hours prior to her being reported missing. Records showing her typical use of electronics and social media demonstrated that this was inconsistent with her typical pattern of life in the days leading up to her disappearance. Additionally, witnesses indicated they attempted to communicate with Suzanne Morphew throughout this time frame but received no response from her. These witnesses indicated that her lack of response was out of the ordinary. Barry Morphew's electronic devices were also analyzed. A download of the infotainment system on Barry Morphew's truck recovered telematics data showing the location and activity of his truck at certain times on May 9th and May 10th. A download of Barry Morphew's cell phone showed additional location information. Based on data from his cell phone, Barry Morphew returned to the Morphew residence at 2:43 p.m. on May 9th. The data did not show his phone or truck leaving the residence again until the morning of May 10th, 2020. The download of Barry Morphew's cell phone registered events related to his phone. An expert forensic analyst determined that some of these events were in fact Barry Morphew's phone being turned off during the time frame of May 9th into May 10th. Turning off a cellular device effectively disables its ability to record location information. Hey, Kate Bell. We've been live for an hour and 16 minutes. Barry Morphew's cell phone was again turned off at 2:32 a.m. on May 10th, prior to him leaving the residence on his trip to Broomfield, Colorado, and was not turned on again until 5:37 a.m., when location information showed him on the road already in the area of Johnson Village, Colorado. Testimony established that the times Barry turned off his phone corresponded to periods of time of significance in the case where location information was consequently unavailable. Similarly, further analysis of the information from Barry Morphew's infotainment system, the telematics, in his truck showed an irregular gap in recorded activities. Significantly, from approximately 3:49 a.m., don't forget he didn't set his alarm to get up until 4:30, right? But at 3:49 a.m. to approximately 8:10 a.m. on May 10th, there is no record data registering on Barry's infotainment system. So he turned it off at 3:49. That's like a 10 to 4 in the morning, yet he says he didn't get up till 4:30. An indication of no truck activity from telematics is inconsistent with other facts developed from Barry Morphew's phone, surveillance footage, and Barry Morphew's statements about his activities on May 10th. Specifically, telematics data showed Barry Morphew arrive at his residence at 2:43 p.m. on May 9th, 2020. It then registered various other activities throughout the afternoon at the residence until it ceased at 9:52 p.m. on May 9th. The telematics data then showed activities resume at 3:25 a.m. to 3:49 a.m. Right? On May 10th, at a GPS location consistent with his driveway. Barry Morphew reported to law enforcement that he was asleep during that time frame. From 3:49 a.m. to 8:10 a.m. on May 10th, the infotainment system or telematics did not register any data, despite the fact that Barry Morphew's cell phone indicated the device was in Johnson Village at 5:37 a.m. on that date, and Barry reported being in his truck and traveling to Broomfield at that time. When recorded telematics data became available again in the records from the infotainment system, downloaded at 8:10 a.m. on May 10th, 2020, corresponding to GPS coordinates, showed that Barry Morphew had already arrived in the area of Broomfield, Colorado. This gap in registered data is inconsistent with the pattern of telematics data captured in the days and weeks leading up to this event. Phone records for both Suzanne Morphew and Barry Morphew were analyzed by expert investigators. The FBI CAS team analyzed phone records for both Barry Morphew and Suzanne Morphew to determine location information and device usage related to their cell phones. In Suzanne Morphew's cell phone records, there was no indication of any user-initiated activity after the time Barry Morphew returned home at 2:43 p.m. on May 9th, 2020. Suzanne Morphew's cell phone device continued to connect through RTT data with the cell tower that services the Morphew home throughout the night of May 9th into the early morning of May 10th. These automated data connections, however, were consistent with the tower reaching out to the phone to determine its location and not initiated by the user of the device. After 4:23 a.m. on May 10th, Suzanne's phone ceased to connect at all ever again. Just 8 minutes. Funny that's coinciding with Barry Morphew at 4:23 a.m., right? Just 8 minutes later, Barry Morphew's cell phone data showed his phone ceased to connect starting at 4:31 a.m. What? Consistent with cell phone downloads showing it powered off at 4:32 a.m. Suzanne Morphew's cell phone never registered on any towers other than the tower consistent with the Morphew residence from the time Barry Morphew returned home at 2:43 p.m. on May 9th to the time it ceased activity altogether at 4:23 a.m. on May 10th, 2020. The same time with Barry's. The Barry's goes off. Despite searches for the device, Suzanne Morphew's cell phone has never been found. Police reviewed people that knew Barry Morphew prior to his move from Indiana to Colorado in 2018. These witnesses told law enforcement that Barry Morphew was a deer farmer in Indiana. Several individuals told law enforcement that Barry used a specific tranquilizer called BAM. Funny, that's what was found in her system, to sedate and transport deer on his deer farm. Barry admitted to using BAM in both Indiana and Colorado. Specifically, he admitted to using BAM in Colorado as recently as April of 2020, stating that at that time he had tranquilized a deer from the breezeway of the Morphew residence. Oh, he tranquilized a deer, right? Spouses often call each other deer. He said the last known picture was taken of Suzanne Morphew in the breezeway suntanning near the breezeway. And he says the last time he used that tranquilizer, he tranquilized a deer from the breezeway of the Morphew residence. Really? Really? On September 22nd, 2023, hang on, I gotta write that down. September 22nd. I knew it was in September of 2023. Human remains were found in and around a shallow Clandestine grave in Saguache County, Colorado, near Highway 17. You guys are going to be shocked where she was found, because when we did the mapping, when we were just searching, we did a live and we were doing mapping long before this, and we were searching down all the roads and everything, and there was a tree in the middle of nowhere that stood out to me. I said, that needs to be searched. Is that a marker? That tree. You'll see it on mapping when we go and do mapping. The remains were found a few hundred feet down a dirt road off Highway 17. This location was less than an hour south of the Morphew residence by main highways. Because we had known, you're going to see on mapping, we had known that he had gone near that area by his GPS that my brother and Martin had come across, okay? So we went searching in that area, and we did a mapping on it. The remains were determined to be those of Suzanne Morphew. The majority of her bones were recovered. Many of the bones were significantly bleached. Along with Suzanne's bones, law enforcement recovered a cancer report and items of clothing, some of which were consistent with bike clothing Suzanne was known to wear. There were no visible perimortem trauma observed. But listen to this, you guys. A board-certified forensic anthropologist and botanist and entomologist all analyzed the remains, and several observations were noted. There was a distinct lack of bug activity, which was inconsistent with the remains having decomposed at that location. Remember I said my read said she had been moved a couple of times. Here we go. The clothing items lacked evidence of decomp, which means the clothing was put there after, which was inconsistent with Suzanne Morphew wearing the bike clothes at the time her body decomposed. Additionally, there was a lack of animal predation on bones. There was only a very small amount of desiccated soft tissue found on a few of the bones, and there was no hair mass located. None. This was done somewhere else, and she was dumped there. The forensic anthropologist opined that based on these factors, it was unlikely Suzanne decomposed from a fresh body to skeleton at this location, which means that SOB took clothes to throw in there to make it look like she decomposed there. The El Paso County Coroner's Office conducted an autopsy. Here we go. Remember the BAM? Remember the BAM back here that Barry had? The BAM? The BAM? The BAM? The BAM? Remember this BAM? Okay? Let's see. Remember this BAM? Right? And remember this? He used it in Colorado as recently as 2020 where he tranquilized a deer from the breezeway of the Morphew residence. Remember that? Okay? Here we go. The El Paso, oh my gosh, get it together, Willow. The El Paso County Coroner's Office conducted an autopsy. In addition to the standard toxicology testing, the Coroner's Office conducted additional toxicology testing at the request of law enforcement for the presence of a chemical mixture known as BAM, or the combination of, I am not even going to try, burfenol, azaprone, and medetomidine. These are the three ingredients in BAM. That's why it's called BAM, because these all start with BAM. So I'm going to call it BAM. The chief toxologist tested Suzanne Morphew's bone marrow for the presence of BAM. All three of the individual chemicals that comprise BAM were present. Additionally, the metabolite for burdafol was present. The presence of the B metabolite eliminated the possibility of post-mortem BAM contamination. The metabolite's presence also indicated that her death was not immediately following the BAM exposure because Suzanne Morphew's body had begun to metabolize the drug before she died. So, once he hit her with the BAM, he kept her alive for a while, but she couldn't move. It paralyzes you. Right? The coroner's office determined the cause of death and manner of death as follows. Homicide by unspecified means in the setting of BAM, intoxication. So I hope, oh my God, you guys. What I'm seeing, because I seen that bleach thing, did he put her in acid and stuff like that and to get rid of all her flesh and hair and everything before disposing of her? And I hope to gosh she wasn't alive when that was done, because she couldn't move. This BAM would paralyze her. A pharmacologist and medical doctor testified about the toxicology testing done to determine the presence of BAM in Suzanne Morphew's remains, about the chemical compound itself, and about the possible effects of that compound in humans. The expert explained that the toxicology testing done by the coroner's office met scientific standards of reliability and accuracy. He further testified that BAM is a chemical mixture of 3 specific compounds used as a tool for sedating animals for medical treatment or movement. Back in 2020, get this, you guys. Back in 2020 and the years leading up to Suzanne Morphew's disappearance, BAM was sold only by one company. BAM was sold by only one company in the United States and could only be obtained by prescription from a veterinarian. BAM must be administered into the bloodstream through intravenous or intramuscular injection. Okay, so that's the darts. To be effective, as the skin and GI tract do not absorb it effectively. BAM does not cause sedation instantaneously, but takes several minutes to take effect. Can you imagine? That's why they've got these pings all around the house. She was running from him. The bedroom door kicked in, all of this crap, right? BAM is designed not to be lethal and comes with reversal agents in the prescription kit. Okay? So at any time, he could have reversed this. However, BAM is not FDA approved for human. Not FDA approved for human use. For that reason, there are no scientific studies available that address the possible effects the compound would have on humans. The pharmacology expert testified that the compound would render the recipient wholly immobile. Okay? The compound would render the recipient wholly immobile, vulnerable, unstable to resist any constrictions to the recipient's ability to breathe. So if he choked her out or smothered her, put a bag over her head, she couldn't do nothing. Records were obtained from BAM. Listen to this, you guys. Records were obtained for BAM prescriptions related to Barry Morphew. Records were also obtained for BAM prescriptions for all persons within the counties and adjacent counties to where the Morphews lived and where Suzanne Morphew's remains were located. Those records showed Barry Morphew obtained and filled several prescriptions for BAM while living in Indiana. Barry Morphew's last purchase of BAM by prescription was in March of 2018. Barry obtained multiple kits that each contained multiple doses just a few months before the Morphews moved to Colorado. Oh my gosh, I don't know what happened there. Let's get rid of that. We can't. Oh well. Weird. Okay. Records further show that no other private citizens or private businesses in any of the surrounding counties purchased BAM prescriptions from 2017 to 2020. Colorado Parks and Wildlife and the National Park Services were the only entities that received prescriptions of BAM in those counties from 2017 through 2020. Investigators learned that each of these government entities enforce tight regulations to monitor their BAM prescription storage and use. None of the BAM from those agencies were unaccounted for. Ultimately, the prescription records show that when Suzanne Morphew disappeared, only one private citizen living in the entire area of the state had access to BAM, Barry Morphew. Okay, so here is the true bill. This is the indictment that the grand jury came back with the true bill. And this happened on the 18th. Now, as soon as they got it, they sent notification to Arizona, and they arrested him. Now, I don't know if they arrested him on the 18th or the 19th. So, defendant information, Barry Morphew, a.k.a. Lee Moore. So, is this a alias he was going by? Right? You're very welcome. You are very, very welcome. We're going to go over the maps next, you guys. Okay, so yesterday, remember I said I thought it was a $3 million cash bail? It is. He needs $3 million cash only, which means they can't put property or vehicles. Like, usually when you get a bond, it's like a certain percentage that you have to have for a bail bondsman, for the bail bondsman to put it up, or you have to have 3 million in assets. Well, they're not doing that. They want 3 million in cold hard cash. You want out, Barry? You better find $3 million cash. No leaving. Okay, so if he does post it, no leaving the state of Colorado, GPS unit, surrender a passport, compliance with mandatory orders, and nationwide extradition. The court further orders that the indictment be sealed until the arrest of the defendant, at which time the indictment shall no longer be sealed. Now, they only released this on the 20th. So I think that they arrested him on the 19th. So there is the indictment, you guys. So let me get rid of that. Okay, let me bring this up. Summer Dawn, can we please talk about... Oh, I just got rid of it. Which paragraph, Summer Dawn? About the redressing? No, I think that once he did what he did to the body... Is that what you're asking about? Is that what you're asking about, Summer? This will give me a minute to take a sip of my coffee. Is that what you're asking about? I do not believe that he redressed her. Because if you read through that, it says that there was some bleaching to the bones, which means she was put into something to get all the flesh and hair off her body. I think what he did is he threw her body in there, whatever was left of it, and then threw clothes in there too, or laid them in a certain way that it may look like she had been wearing them. I don't think you can't redress bones like that. The clothes were placed there because there was no decomp on the bones or on the clothing. He placed that clothing there to make it look like she had been wearing those clothes. Okay, map time. Map time. Can I get rid of this? I'm an idiot. Okay, can you hear me now? I put myself backstage for some reason. Can you hear me? Hello? 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 Can you guys hear me now? There he is. There he is. I used your perp walk. Tagged you, sent everybody over. Go and subscribe. There's Tube Crime. Hallelujah. It looks like we're going to be going full throttle again. Tube Crime. So thank him, you guys, for bringing us that perp walk. And like I said, I put the link to Tube Crime's channel. Go check it out. You're going to find it interesting. I was yelling at my phone. Yeah, I took myself out from backstage, so I've got, like, I'm an idiot when it comes to electronics, so that's why it was such a big joke when both Kurt and I were called out for, it was Willow. It was that Above and Beyond Ancestors that hacked into the system. You guys, I wish I knew how to do stuff like that. But anyway, there's the man of the hour. Say hello, everybody. Okay, so what I was saying is, here is the house. Now, we know that her body was moved a couple of times. We know that now by the affidavit, or by the indictment. So this is where her bike was found, up here. And I believe that he parked on the side of the road here at 3-something in the morning, threw it down there. He comes out here and he goes left. Now, don't forget, a lot of us, there's some of us here that have been here since day one that are going to know exactly what I'm talking about. When he was interviewed, he never said nothing about turning left here until he was caught turning left here by GPS or by his phone or however. I got to go over the documents again to get myself back up to speed. Okay, so down here is where they found her bike helmet, over here. He continued on to this way, turned around, and then came back. Don't forget that he put his phone either in airplane mode or something like that. This is once he was arrested. He was staying here. Well, his house was being searched. He stayed here at a buddy's place. Okay, so he had then moved here to these apartments over here. I believe this was, let's see if they got, yes. Okay, he was right on the corner. So I believe it was here. 1026. Let's find it. Here we go, you guys. We're going to find it. Let's find 1026. It's going to be down here further. Whoops. Do not go. Okay, down here. I think this is it right here. Yep. Told ya. So this is where he had moved before taking off back to Indiana and then Arizona. This is where he was living. Right here. That's Brandon. Yes, for those that you know, thank you, Karen. That is Brandon to crime. Okay, so let's get out of that. And then he was arrested right here on the side of the road. Reading you loud and clear. Shamina, I think that he had dropped that lawsuit. Just going through chat here. I tend to forget to look at chat while I'm going through this stuff to see your guys' questions and stuff. Like, yeah, I'm going to refresh again. Like, there's tons of stuff I haven't forgot. But there's lots that I did, like dates. But we'll go through it. And like I said, you guys, like, go and subscribe to Tube Crime. I put his link in the chat. I will link it in the description of the video once we're done the video. So you guys can also go into the description and get it there if you didn't get it in chat. So he was arrested right in front of this building here along the side of the road on May 5th, 2021. Very close to a year since the death of Suzanne. Okay. So, oh my gosh, I haven't looked at this map in so long. Okay, so this is probably, I forget what this was. If you're still here, Brandon, do you remember what this was? Was this his buddy's place? The 8425 County Road, 144? Was that his buddy's place? If you remember? Because I know this is the lot that he had bought, and they were there digging up under new trees and everything that had been planted. And then he sold this. He took a $15,000 loss on it. He bought it in June 25th of 2020 for $165,000. And then he sold it in February, just like 6 to 7 months later, for $150,000. He took a loss. But that was the lot that he had bought. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so I want to go to Broomfield. This is where he turned around at the Goldfield mine the morning of. So you can see where his home is here. Dumped the helmet and turned around at the mine and went back. He went all the way down here, which is odd. Okay, so I want to show you this wall that he showed up with. Okay, can I get there? I don't know if you're going to be able to see it here. No, see, the retaining wall is here, but you see how, let's see if we can get over there. Hang on. We can't. At one time, you guys, we could drive all through here on the map, of course. But there, let me see if I can see it from... If we can see it from here, if I can zoom in. Ah, see, there's the retaining wall right there. You see that brown right there? That's the retaining wall, and it's like 4 or 5 feet tall. And it's all cement and stone and stuff. That's what he brought, a shovel and a rake to do this job on Mother's Day on a Sunday when it's illegal in Broomfield to even do work like that on Sunday. And Broomfield said that they had no work orders or anything for him to start that job there. that they didn't even want him touching it anymore because he'd already messed it up so bad. So that's the retaining wall right here. Okay, so let's go to a street view. Now, this is the Holiday Inn, okay? And I'm going to show you something. When he first came in, he parked down here. Then he parked over here and walked down here to there's garbage bins. See the garbage bins? This is a garbage bin. Can we get in there? No. We can get here, though. There's the garbage bins. He had parked over here in this area, and he walked down here and threw stuff away in this bin, too. He had also parked at one time. Remember the picture I showed you where he has stuff down on the ground? Let me bring that picture back up if I can. Hang on a second. Let me find it. There we go. Can you guys see this? Yes. See this photo here where he has stuff and he puts stuff on the ground there? That is right here. He had parked over here and he brought stuff over. These are the doors he went in with the rake and shovel. So I just showed you the job that needed to be done, right? Oops, let me get this up. Hang on a sec. There we are. And this is what he brought to do that job. Shovel and a rake. This is him coming in. Now, this is apparently when he got the phone call, Suzanne's missing. He said that he had been at the job site. He wasn't. He had been in that motel room since 12:30 in the afternoon, and he sat there and he waited. Okay? Now, when they confiscated his truck, these are some of the pictures from inside his truck. It's filthy, you guys. I've got better pictures of these that I've got to find that show his truck. But these are the pictures of inside his truck. Like I said, they're on my other computer, so I got to transfer everything. This here is his backhoe. His bobcat, the bobcat. But, like, there is so much to this case, you guys. Big Heart's back. He was supposed to be wanting to build his mother a house there. But because of all the heat, he ended up selling it and taking a $15,000 loss. Odd is, to say the least. I believe he dropped it because he was scared to be deposed. I'm just looking for other questions before we continue. I really gotta stop doing that. I gotta watch chat more. Okay. So this is the motel that he's apparently stayed in. To work on that wall. Now, I'm sure I marked them all. Here, he dump stuff here too in this dumpster. Mark's Work Warehouse, wherever these dumpsters are here. It's hard to see on this. I don't know why it's so messed up. It used to be so clear. Let's get rid of Street View. But this is the men's warehouse that he had gone to and dropped stuff off there. He also went here and dropped stuff off here. I think that's, what is that? Is that the motel? 9:12 a.m. So 9:12 a.m. he dropped stuff here. 9:30 a.m. he dropped stuff here. And there was another one, a bus stop or something, near a bus stop. There was 3 different places, y'all. Like I said, it's been so long since I looked at this. But there was another place along the road, too, that he stopped. It was like a bus stop or something, where he stopped on the side of the road and dumped stuff off there, too. There's the retaining wall build there. Okay, so let's go. Yeah, see, this is where we were drawn to with when we did the pendulum. And this is the area where we found that blue blanket. Do I got it in here? There it is. See this blue blanket? This is where that blue blanket was found, in this treed area. And also in the water, in the creek part of the water, there was a suitcase, but the water had gone down and it was stuck in the mud. They couldn't get it out. They couldn't get to it to get it out. And somebody opened their mouth and put it out there before we could get something like a canoe or something to get to it, to get it out. When they finally got to it, somebody had already got to it, opened it, and took whatever was in it out, because the suitcase was left open. And it wasn't like that when we seen it. And the blue blanket, and that was gone. So that's where that stuff was found. Now there was, okay. So if you guys remember when we did the mapping, when Kurt and Martin had gone through the GPS and everything, and we found out that he knew somebody that lived over here and that he had been in this area. Remember, we went up, we had the horse and the cart and everything. I tried to make light of what we were doing. It wasn't funny, I guess. Well, it was at the time, but anyway, we searched and we went using, it wasn't Street View, it was something else. Or we were just following the road like this, up and around and looking in spots. This is what we were doing. That's how it's clearer. And we were looking in spots like this, all in these areas that I tagged up in here. Then what we did is we started again. Where were we? From the friend's place. Okay, so I know the friend lived around here somewhere. Okay, here. So what we did when we found out that Barry was right here at this residence, we followed this residence back out, because from here, his house is over here. So he would have had to come down this highway to get here. So what we did is we came out and we went here to get back to this main highway. And we were going up and down this road, and I pointed out this place looked really odd, that this is all dark and there was a spot in the middle here that looked weird. I found it odd. Then we continued, and as we were going down the highway, you guys, I'll show you what I seen. As we were traveling down the highway, I said, look at that lone tree. There ain't a tree for miles around, way down there. But look at this. And I said, isn't that odd? It's almost like Suzanne saying, hello. Do you guys remember that did maps with me? And this is long before she was found. When we were doing the mapping of going up in the mountains and stuff, when we found out that he had been out in this area. Do you guys remember that? And I said, look at that lone tree, not a tree around to be seen. Way down here, which is a little town, and then way down there. Then you got the mountains. We went all up in the mountains here around his buddy's place. Who remembers that? Put it in the chat if you remember when we did that. And then I'd said when we were on this road going back, because this is the main road. Do you remember that, Nana? And this is the main road that he would have to take to get back to his house in Maysville, right? Near Maysville. And I said, that is just odd. That lonely tree there. I says, I'm drawn to it. So we marked it, right? We marked that lone tree. And when we were going by it, there was nothing else there. Just this lonely tree. Nothing around it. Nothing. Do you remember that, you guys? Guess where Suzanne's body was found? There's that lone tree. Drawn here, could be around this tree. A marker for him to remember where he disposed of her. This is where she was found, right here. Look at that. This is trailers and stuff. This wasn't here back then. This is February 21st, 2025. They weren't there then. Look at this. This is where she was found. Right there. And there's the tree that I was drawn to. We'll go back out. We'll go right back to here. I'll put the banam right there. There's that tree that I marked. And she was found. She was found back in here. On this side of the road. Probably over here somewhere. Kate Bell, member for 28 months. You're so welcome. You remember that? There's some of you have been here for a long time with me. But yeah, remember we had okay, everybody back on the horse and buggy. Let's go. We're going and checking the next spot. And I remember because I marked that tree and I said, it is just so eerie. Nothing else in sight but this lone tree. I said, is that a marker for him? Is she around here somewhere? Or did he go down this road and up here? We didn't know at that time, but I was drawn to that tree. And she was found right over here. And that was like, what, a year before? A year before she was found. The 200 square mile search, yeah. And the friend that had done 200 tours. 400. Wasn't it 400? Tours? And if you guys remember, let's go back to the big map, okay? Because we're going to go like this, because I want to show you guys something. And I said, when he said this, I said, that's where we got to search, that way. Watch. Okay, so here is their home, right here, I believe. Yes, here is their home. He was standing, and this is where AK had marked where, oh, never mind. I know what that was now. That's where he was with Adventures with Purpose, and there were guys there with guns, like pointing at them. Anyway, Barry was standing right here. Okay? And he was pointing. He was standing in the middle of the road. You see one of the interviews. He was pointing. So he's standing here in the middle of the road pointing this way. We searched miles and miles. This way has all been searched. Do you remember that? Well, guess where Suzanne was found? That way. Don't go this way. We've searched that way. You need to go the other ways. Not this way. And this is where Suzanne was found. Right by that tree. That stuck out to me. Come on, Banam. Away voisilo. Why are you not going to go there? Okay, let's do this. Come on, Banam. There we go. Nope, it's not going to do it. I don't know what's messing up on this map. But that tree, and that's where she was found, right here on the other side of the road, over in this area here. Yeah, his triangle. Yeah, it was 400 tours of active duty. It has triangle. We've searched all this area. We've searched all this area. Don't know. And this is where his buddy lived, right? Is up in here. But he would have had to come down this road to get back onto the main road to get to Villa Grove. And this is where we went all up into the mountains looking on our way back, remember? And the first time Barry was arrested, he was arrested here. Oh, when he was arrested the first time. Just outside of his home in Poncha Springs. Yeah, this was all searched. This was where he was doing that work on somebody's house, I think, along the Arkansas River. Remember when the woman had said, the older woman had said that she'd heard heavy machinery or whatever? Here's Salida. This was searched. I don't know why. Dead Horse Gulch Ranch. This was searched for some reason. I forget why they had searched this area. A tip had come in, I think. So I marked it. But yeah. So this was our mapping back in the day. And then she was found down here. Right by that tree. Okay, so let's stop sharing that. What else did I have for you guys? Oh, yeah. That other paperwork I wanted to show you. Let me just find it here. Get out of this, and I gotta go to this. Barry Morphew. I think it was in here. Okay, where is it? Hang on, let me find it, you guys. Was it this? Yeah, this is just the overview. I'll show you it. But I have all these documents still to this day. So this is from the first time he was arrested. And when the jury trial was supposed to be, it was supposed to be April 28th, 2022. I'm just going to scan through this. This is when he had Iris Eaton. And I do believe that this was the no contact. Something to do with the no contact, because there's Mallory's name there. And this is what he was charged with. Redrum 1, after deliberation, which means premeditated, tampering with the deceased human body, tampering with physical evidence, dangerous weapon possession, public servant attempt to influence a public servant, and he pled not guilty to all of them. And this was they had a no contact order, and then they went into court, and the girl said no, they wanted contact with them, so they kept the order there in case they ever did change their mind that they wanted no contact, that it was there and available for them. I agree, Flyer B. C shall vacate the home of the victims and stay away from any other location the victims are likely to be. This was the no contact. Shall refrain from contacting directly or indirectly communicating with the victims, which was Mallory and Macy and Suzanne's family. Shall not possess or control firearm or other weapon, no contact, except none. Shall not possess or purchase any ammunition. Shall relinquish for the duration of the order any firearm, ammunition, your immediate possession and control. Protection orders, which the girls had removed. Right? But the Suzanne's family kept theirs intact. So this is just all the events that happened. The Ramsey Lama. Remember Judge Lama? These are just all the filings. COA audio. Exhibits. Affidavits of Tanya Holiday. Exhibits. Expanded media coverage. Motion for discovery of jury investigation. Motion to preserve notes and materials. That I've got all of these documents still. Anyway, there's 15 pages. Motion for sanctions. This is when Linda Stanley started messing up. Like, this brings back some bad memories. Some of this stuff, like really bad. Like how bad she messed up this case. He should have already been in jail serving a life sentence. But they took their time. And like I said, there's 15 pages of this, you guys. I've got all these documents. They took their time. They took their time, and they've got their case rock solid. Like stated in the affidavit, they are going to rely on some of the evidence that, they had from the first case, and they can do that now that they have, number one, found her remains. And it's, by the sounds of it to me, is they have come up with more information. Now, do you guys want to see the other filings that have already been filed regarding Barry? If you do, you got to give me 5 minutes to run potty. Not even 5 minutes, but enough time to run potty. If you want to see the other documents that have been filed already in the record for Barry Morphew, I will bring them up and read them to you or show you them. It's up to you guys if you want to see them or not, because there's other documents that have been filed along with the indictment. Let me know in the chat quickly. If not, I'm going to wrap it up because I got to pee really bad. So we can take a couple minute break and come back, and we can go over the other documents that have been filed. Yes? Let me get a bunch of yeses in the chat, and I will do that. If the majority wants that, that's what we will do. So please put yes in the chat if you want to see the other documents that have been filed. Yes, yes, yes. Everybody wants yes, yes, yes. Okay. Give me 2 minutes and we will be right back. I just got to run upstairs. Well, I'm not going to run because my knee is not so good, but give me a few minutes to go potty and heat up my coffee, and I will be right back, and we will go over the other documents that have been filed in this case. See you in a couple minutes. Okay, that wasn't so bad, was it? All right. Okay, so it looks like everybody wants to see the documents. Yes, 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 yes. Pee break is forgiven. Thank you. To crime. He says, I pray they make an example of Lee Moore, right? I mean, Barry. I mean bear. I mean psychopath. I mean, oops, did I say that out loud? I'm unmuted. Uh-oh. I'm scared. Okay, let me get the other documents up. Pull them up right here. And Summer Dawn says, Brandon, tube crime. I'd love to go on that hunting expedition. Wouldn't we all? Wouldn't we all? Okay, so let me share. Here we go. Share. Here we go. Can you guys see my? Yes. Okay. I don't know how I just did that, but usually when I try to get my pointer on the screen, it doesn't go. So there's the indictment right here, you guys. Okay. So right here, this was the first order. This was at 2:05. Let me just see over here. 1:45. So I guess it goes down. 2:03. What was this one again? 2:04. They're out of order. I hate that. There goes my OCD. Okay. So this one was first. Let me blow it up for you guys. This one was first. And basically what they're saying here is this is an order preemptively granting requests for expanded media coverage. Okay. Let me just see if this is the right one, because there's two that she did. Okay, this is not it. First, right here. This is the first one she did. Order limiting pretrial publicity. So what she's basically saying here is the lawyer should not make extrajudicial statements that a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by means of public communication if the lawyer knows or reasonably should know that it will have a likelihood of prejudicing a criminal proceeding. Any lawyer, law firm, or legal representative, investigators of any firm associated with the prosecution or defense of this criminal matter should not make or participate in making extrajudicial statements that a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by means of public communication, and that relates to the following because it's ordinarily likely to prejudice a criminal proceeding. Flyer B said, I will always have to utmost respect for Miles. Yes. He is the ex-boyfriend, yes, of the youngest daughter. He knew about Suzanne's biking routines. I still remember his dad posted a Facebook message on or near the first year anniversary. Yeah. Tube said, I don't know, but one tour is too many based on my personal experience. Right? Yep. The PTSD from that is... You don't know unless you've been through it. Like I have PTSD, but not from anything like you guys suffer. There's so many different forms, but to go and serve your country and to come back with some of those visions and memories, and I just can't imagine. And my heart has always gone out to you guys. Whoever's had to go out and see in the line of duty, go out and see what's happened over there. So my heart goes out to you. Big hugs, Brandon. Okay. So, because it is ordinarily likely to prejudice a criminal proceeding, the character, reputation, or prior criminal record. So they can't be talking about his previous arrest. Right? Including arrests, indictments, or other charges of a crime of the accused. The possibility of a plea of guilty to the offense charge or to a lesser offense. That's weird. The existence or contents of any confession, admission, or statement given by the accused or the refusal or failure to make a statement. The performance or results of any examinations or tests or the refusal or failure of the accused to submit to examinations or tests. Like, there's generally, how can I say this? There's generally orders that are put out similar to this, but you've got to read between the lines sometimes because there's things in here that are not the norm, right? So you got to learn to read between the lines. The identity, testimony, or credibility of prospective witnesses, any opinion as to guilt or innocence of the accused, the evidence, or the merits of the case, information that the lawyer knows or has reason to know would be inadmissible at trial. Section B, above does not preclude a lawyer during such period from announcing. So they can announce the name, age, residence, occupation, and family status of the accused. They can announce the information necessary to aid in the apprehension of the accused or to warn the public of any danger of the accused may present. A request for assistance in obtaining evidence. They can ask for the identity of the victim of the crime if permitted by law. The fact, time, and place of arrest, resistance pursuant to use of weapons. The identity of investigating and arresting officers or agencies and the length of the investigation. They can give out that information. Right? That was another thing that he had put Suzanne's voting slip in. Right? And he says, well, it's because I know she would have voted that way. I don't even want to say the guy's name. But anyway, how do you know? Obviously, you didn't know much about your wife, right? She was done. She was done with you. She wouldn't want you. She wouldn't trust you. She was scared to be alone with you, right? But she would want you to vote for her. Piss off, Barry. Barry Lee Morphew, exactly. Okay. At the time of seizure, a description of the physical evidence seized other than a confession, admission, or a statement, the nature, substance, or text of the charge, quotations from and references to public records of the court in the case, the scheduling or result of any step in the judicial proceedings, that the accused denies the charges made against him or her, and the general nature of the defense to the charges or to other public accusations against the accused, including that the accused has no prior criminal record. Now, these are just general. Like, I would expect to see this one. I would expect to see this one. I would expect to see this one. This one I would expect to see. This I would expect to see. This one I would expect to see. This one I would expect to see. This one I would expect to see. You know, all these I would expect to see. But up here, this I would expect to see in this order. This I would expect to see. This one I would expect to see. This one I would not expect to see. This one I would not expect to see. And this one I would not expect to see. So the first three I would not expect to see in this order. That is outside of, not that I wouldn't expect to see it if certain things happened, but it's not the norm. It's not the generalized form that they usually give. During the selection of a jury or trial of this criminal matter, any lawyer or law firm associated with the prosecution or defense of this criminal matter shall not make or participate in making an extrajudicial statement that a reasonable person would expect to be disseminated by means of public communication and that relates to the trial parties or issues in the trial or other matters that are reasonably likely to interfere with a fair trial, except that he or she may quote from or refer without comment to public records. So anything that is not in the public record, that's just like what's happening in the Brian Koberger case, anything that has been under seal, has been heard ex parte, that has been heard in camera, stuff like that, they can't talk about. Now, anything that's in the public record, they can, but they are being advised not to anyway. So nothing can be construed or misrepresented or misunderstood or anything like that. They don't want them talking at all. But things that are in the public records, they can refer to it, but they can't comment on it. Okay? Any lawyer or law firm associated with the prosecution or defense of this criminal matter should exercise reasonable care to prevent his employees and associates from making an extrajudicial statement that he would be prohibited from making under this order. So, release of information by law enforcement agencies. The provisions set forth above in Section 1 are applicable to the release of information to the public by law enforcement officers and agencies. From the date of this order until the completion of the trial or disposition without trial, law enforcement officers, law enforcement personnel, and those working at the direction of law enforcement agencies shall not release or authorize the release of any extrajudicial statement. So they can't release anything unless it's already been made public by the district attorney or put into this record that we can all see. Disclosure by court personnel. Court personnel should not disclose to any unauthorized person information relating to this pending criminal case that is not part of public record. So nobody in the court, nobody. People like the officers, the special constables, whatever they call them there. Here they're called special constables that bring you from the jail to court, that watch you while you're being held in the holding cells in the court. Anything that they hear or talk to him about, they can't repeat. Like, mom's a word. No, can't talk. This order applies to all agencies served with a copy of this order and all subordinates in or to those agencies. If counsel wishes this order to apply to any agency not listed, the court shall be notified by written motion forthwith of said agency with proper notice to the opposing party. Okay? So, that's this one. This one here, let me see if this is the next one that I want to go over first. Okay, yeah. So this one, she basically says, upon consideration of the public immediate interest in these proceedings, the court, in the exercise of my inherent power to provide for the orderly disposition of this case, hereby enters the following order pertaining to conduct. Of significant importance is my intent to preserve the process by which a fair trial may be had. Any attempts to disrupt that process may result in exclusion from the proceedings going forward and or other legal sanctions, including contempt of court. To that end, all persons must recognize that the Alamosa County Justice Center and the individual courtrooms and facilities are not large, and therefore reasonable accommodation and coordination is necessary. At all times, access to and movement within the Alamosa County Justice Center must remain available to conduct the normal business of the courts, which means other courtrooms and people that come to the court to maybe file stuff, whatever, other court cases that are going on. You can't impede access to those areas, right? The media members of the public parties and their legal representations and agents shall at all times be subject to this order. Okay. Except as outlined in the order preemptively granting requests for expanded media coverage, EMC, there will be strict adherence to Chief Judge Administrative Orders 2020, amended in 2023, concerning civility in the courts, and 2024 concerning a prohibition on recording in the courthouse. All parties, law enforcement, etc., shall strictly conform to any public comment to the order limiting pretrial publicity, with the exception of counsel and their staff in the court and my staff, and the exceptions outlined in the EMC. There shall be no electronic devices in the courtroom. So You know how before people were tweeting out from the courtroom and everything? Well, this time, if you are in the actual courtroom, they do have an overflow room for media and stuff. You can use your electronics in that room, but you cannot use it in the courtroom itself. This includes cell phones, smartwatches, laptops, tablets, or any other device. Any unauthorized device brought into the courtroom will be confiscated and destroyed. You ain't getting it back. Ooh, she's going balls to the walls. Okay, so the court will live stream all proceedings that fall under the rule. There shall be no live streaming of the proceedings, which means anything that the court does live stream for us to see, and that's going to be like major things like um, him being arraigned and pretrial and stuff like that. We will be able to see. They're going to live stream it, but just they're not going to live stream all the motions and everything else. This is what I'm getting from this. And when they do, it's going to be the court doing it, and we cannot restream it. I'm hoping this changes for the trial itself, that we can restream it, because if not, that's going to be a bitch. I ain't going to like that at all. We've been waiting a long, long time. There's a lot of us, Brandon included, me, AK, Martin, Brandon, like that have sunk our teeth into this since day one. And it's like, come on. But anyway, let's hope that that changes and they do allow us to live stream it. And except as outlined in the EMC, there shall be no audio or video recording of any kind of the proceedings, including recording of the live stream. So, it's a little bit confusing to me because in the next order, she is going to allow a pool camera. Is that going to be live streamed? I don't know. I don't know. To me, it's confusing. Because if she's going to allow a pool camera, they're going to stream it out to the world. Does that mean that I can't live stream the news that's putting it out on a live stream? It's a pool camera, right? We'll see in the next order what it says, but to me it's very confusing. There shall be one row of the courtroom reserved for the defendant's family members and one row reserved for media outlets. There will be adequate space reserved for the statutory victims to attend court in person. All other space in the courtroom to attend the proceedings in person will be available on first-come, first-served basis. Anyone else wishing to observe the proceedings may do so via the live stream. All members of the public and media must be seated before court. So now they're just going in, saying that you can't go in and out during proceedings. You can only go in and out during breaks. I'm going to go through this slow, so if you do want to read through it all, whatever. No member of the public or media will be permitted in any area of the courtroom other than the areas designated for public and media seating. The only individuals who may access my WebEx conference room for these proceedings are prosecutors, including staff, prosecutor or law enforcement, victim advocates, and statutory victim defense counsel, including staff, the defendant, and court staff authorized by me. These individuals are encouraged to use the WebEx app and register themselves as a user with their full name. There shall be no recording of any kind made of the proceedings that are only via WebEx. No interviews conducted on the court grounds. Clear passages to in and out of the courtroom. So they're going to be ordered to park in designated spots. Persons known or identified to be summoned or selected as juries should not be approached, contacted, questioned, interviewed, harassed, whether on or off the property. Limited the prospectus or being in the matter concerns case such and some jury has been discharged. Okay. All persons entering the courthouse and subsequently the courtroom may be subject to screening, including a magnetometer or wand. That's to see if you have any metals or anything on you. So any violation of the foregoing rules or any other conduct that I find disruptive to the proceedings may result in an order of temporary or permanent exclusion from the proceedings or other legal sanctions. Okay, so this is the one to me that is confusing. Maybe it's because I just skimmed through it. I don't know. This is 5 pages, you guys. Ugh. Okay, so this matter comes before me in anticipation of numerous requests for expanded media coverage, blah, 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 blah. So I find an order as follows. Stands for authorizing coverage. Chapter 38, Rule 3 of the Colorado Supreme Court rules provide the standards for authorizing expanded media coverage. In determining whether expanded media coverage should be permitted, a judge shall consider the following factors. Hello, Alicia. Whether there is reasonable likelihood that expanded media coverage will interfere with the rights of the parties to a fair trial. Whether there is reasonable likelihood that expanded media coverage would unduly just detract from the solemnal decorum and dignity of the court, decorum of the court. Whether expanded media coverage would create adverse effects that would be greater than those caused by traditional media coverage. After consideration of the above listed, oh my gosh. Slow down, Willow. Factors, expanded media coverage should be permitted in a limited capacity as set forth below. However, whether restated in this order or not, I shall require strict adherence to the perimeters outlined in Chapter 38, Rule 3 of the Colorado Supreme Court rules. Okay. Hey, Adegini. Good to see you guys. Let me just check over here to see. Oh my gosh, I've missed a whole bunch. Okay, I thought I missed super chats here because I see a whole bunch. Summer Dawn. Member 16 months says, I can't hear you, Willow. Oh. And then Kate Bell said, thank you, Willow. Member for 28 months. I usually have that viewer activity up so I can see when people, because if you're a member, you once a month, you can put a message with your green tag and it stands out, or super chats, anything come into the viewer activity and I see them right away. So sorry for missing those, Summer Dawn and Kate Bell. I'm so sorry. I'm just seeing them now. Okay. 3 spots will be reserved for media vehicles in the southeast corner of the South General parking lot of the courthouse. No more than 1 spot per media outlet may be taken at a time and will be allotted on first-come, first-served basis. Media vehicles' equipment shall not impede the public's ability to drive through the parking lot, nor any driveway or other public roadway. Brandon says, Iris knew 100%. She just basically took the money and bounced. Yep. It's like, kick rocks. Kick rocks, Bear. I'm out. Easy payday. Kind of crappy. It's Suzanne's money, though. Yep. It was Suzanne's inheritance that bought that Puma Path home that he sold for $1.65 million. Oh, my God. And you know that money is well protected now. It's in his daughter's name, right? Okay. Media vehicles, equipment. Okay. No more than 5 credentialed members of the media shall be allowed in the courtroom on any given day. They shall be confined to the backmost right row of the courtroom. Back of the bus. Back of the bus. Yes, it was from earlier, but I just seen it now, so I'm sorry I missed that. I didn't have that up. I usually have viewer activity up, and I didn't have it up, so I'm sorry I missed it. 1 member of the media will be allowed to record the proceedings with an agreement to share that video and audio with all other media outlets who request it. Okay, so they're able to record the proceedings. Check. And they have to share that video and audio with all other media outlets who request it. Check. Any member of the media unwilling to share its video or audio with any other credentialed media member of the media will not be permitted to record. Members of the media are solely responsible for making all pooling arrangements. Got it. Priority will be given on first come, first served basis for both seats in the courtroom and recording. Check. All other members of the media may watch the proceedings via live streaming and may do so from the media room. However, there shall be no audio or video recording of the live stream. Okay, so the live stream is what the court is putting out. Okay? So, but I'm seeing here, are they only allowed to record it and then share it, and once court is done, maybe they can play? I don't know, because why would you allow a pool camera but not allowed to stream it out to the public, right? There shall be no video or audio recordings made of any part of the courthouse outside the single recording allowed in the courtroom. This includes, but is not limited to, any office or hallway inside the courthouse, any other court, whether in use or empty, the entryway, security, blah, blah, blah. Okay. No video or audio recording shall be made of any minor, absolutely, juror, witness, or court staff member, inside or out. Video or audio recordings may only be had of the defendant, members of his legal team, the prosecution, and members of its team, and the judge. Oh. So they can't even have a camera on the witness or on the big screen where evidence is going to be shown. No still photography of any kind, place, or person. No added lighting, including movie lights. Okay, I get that. No added sound equipment, including boom or other microphones, allowed. So they can't put microphones at the defense table, at the prosecution table, excuse me, at the witness stand. Oh. The only portions of the proceedings that may be audio and video recorded are bond hearings, preliminary hearing, arraignment, pretrial conferences, motion hearings, opening statements, closing statements, reading of the verdict, sentencing except for any victim impact, or post-conviction hearings. So by the sounds of this, we're not going to see the trial. Because it says the only portions of the proceedings that may be audio and video recorded are, okay, so maybe only media are only allowed to record that pool camera for bond hearings, preliminary hearing, arraignment, pretrial conferences, motions hearings, okay, opening statements, closing statements, reading of the verdict, sentencing except for any victim impact statements or post-conviction hearings. There shall be no recordings of any bench conferences, in-camera proceedings, communications between the defendant and counsel, communications between co-counsel for any party. There shall be no zoom or close-ups made of any of the proceedings. Okay. I don't get it. Why do they have a pool camera if they can't? Right? He used it to defend himself the last time. I don't know if he's got any money in his name anymore. Brandon says, this courtroom sounds like New York courtroom, right? What the F, Colorado? I don't get this, though, Brandon. If they're allowing a pool camera to record the audio and video, Why record it if they can't stream it out? And if they can stream it out onto the news stations, why aren't we allowed to grab those and restream them? I don't get it. Okay, let's continue. Maybe it says something. Expectations for contact of media representatives. Anyone conducting expanded media coverage shall handle themselves at all times in a manner consistent with the decorum and dignity of the court. The following practices shall apply. Equipment shall be positioned and operated in a fixed location as approved by the presiding judge or her personnel at least 15 minutes prior to the commencement of each proceeding as to minimize any distraction. Identifying marks, call letters, logos. Okay, they have to cover if it's like a news station, they have to cover their logo. No equipment used to provide expanded media coverage shall be placed in or removed from the courtroom while court is in session. Members of the media may not use any cell phone, laptop, or other device with wireless capabilities in the courtroom. However, members of the media may utilize any of these devices inside the media room, provided that such use is consistent with the rules on expanded media coverage. Members of the media will comply with all requests, directions, or orders from the Alamosa County Sheriff's Department, Alamosa Police Department, Colorado State Patrol, Colorado Judicial Department. Oh my gosh, hang on. Colorado Judicial Department Security Administrator. Okay. See it. Okay. Why is there a pool camera if they can't stream it out? It only says that they can record. See? Where is it? All other members of the media may watch the proceedings via live streaming and may do so from the media room. However, there should be no audio or video recording of the live stream. Well, if the court is putting out a live stream and there's a pool camera, it is, because she's allowing a pool camera. They are, Brandon, they're live streaming it from the court. Like the court equipment is going to live stream, but she didn't say anything about the trial, right? So from what I'm seeing here is she is going to allow them to record bond hearings, preliminary hearing, arraignment, pretrial conferences, motions hearings, opening statements, closing statements, reading of the verdict, sentencing, post-conviction hearings. So she's going to allow a pool camera in there for that to record it. But what are they going to do with that recording if she's not allowing them to live stream it? What's the sense of a pool camera if you can't send it out to the public? And then she says in the media room, it's going to be the live stream from the court from the court equipment. I think it'll be done as posts on X and other social media platforms. Like we can watch it. I think we're going to be able to watch it, but we can't record it and like we can't restream it. Like I can sit here and physically watch the court's live stream, but I can't restream it. Okay, I get it. But why are they allowing a media pool camera in there if it can't be live streamed out to the public? followed by live reactions during breaks at the end of the day, like watching a football game with the boys and then talking about it later. Regina. Yeah, well, this is what I'm not understanding. Why are they allowing a pool camera in there for the media to record all these, like, opening statements, motions, pretrial, arraignment, preliminary hearing, bond hearings, all this stuff? They're allowing a pool camera in there, but they can't stream it out to the media? What's the sense of that? I don't get it. And yet the court is going to live stream it, but I can't watch the court's live stream and restream it out on my channel. And if you notice in here in number 11, there is nothing about the actual trial. So what is the pool camera for? The media pool camera, what is it for if it's not to stream it out to the internet? That's what I'm wondering, Brandon. It's like, why have a pool camera if the court is going to live stream it out, but we can't restream it? So everybody will be able to sit at their computer and watch it from the court's feed, but I can't physically have the court feed up on my computer and stream it to my YouTube channel so everybody, we can chit-chat back and forth and all that crap. What the frig? It doesn't make sense. It's confusing. Because I feel if the media has a pool camera in there and they're putting it out onto the internet, why can't we restream that? I don't get it. I don't get this. And see, she's saying, where is it? See, one member of the media will be allowed to record the proceedings with an agreement to share that video and audio with all other media outlets who request it. Okay, I'm going to request it. Why can't I play it on my channel? I don't get it. Like, I know, it wasn't live streamed before, and we were just repeating stuff on Twitter. That's how me and AK got ourselves in that jam that we got ourselves in. Thank God he went to court and fought for the both of us, because neither one of us did anything wrong. We weren't live streaming anything. We were just telling our viewers on our YouTube channels what was being said in court. And we got that information via Twitter. They tried to say that either Kurt or I hacked into their system, which was like, I can't even hack into my email because I forgot my password. I know. Shocker, right? You can't. No. We don't need knocks at the door, right? I've got that transcript, Brandon, when Kurt went to court. He says that Willow, who lives up north in the northern... She was in the courtroom recording everything and streaming it to her channel. What? Meanwhile, I'm sitting here at home in Canada on my computer just repeating to my viewers what I'm getting from the tweets that were coming out of the courthouse. I didn't stream nothing. Go look at my whole video of that day. Anyway, we were both found to have not done nothing wrong, but I mean, it takes a toll on your psyche, right? It's like, what the F? Because we had like a lot of people in watching our streams, and like I said, I can't even hack into my email. I forgot my email password. I can't. I've tried everything. 5 years later, I'm still not into that. I had to make a new one. So yeah. See, I don't know. You can't. Just kidding. Does it make any sense, Brandon, to you? Does this make any sense? Like, why would the media want a pool camera in there if they can't live stream it out to their news channel? And if they're allowed to stream it out to their news channel, we should be able to take that, not the court's feed, but the pool camera feed, and we should be able to restream that because it's out in the public forum, right? Am I wrong? I don't know. I don't know the laws in the U.S. I don't know. I'm a Canadian here. Let me know if you find that out. It's just very confusing. It's just very confusing. Yeah, there's some that we can watch, Regina, and there's some that we can't. And I know for the Barry Morphew, the first time he was arrested, there was only certain things they let us see. And then they said that the trial will be live streamed and you can restream it. But everything up to that point, we weren't allowed to restream. We could watch it, but we couldn't restream it. But by the looks of this now, is we're not even going to see the trial. I don't know. It's confusing. My head is going in circles. Like I said, I hardly slept last night, you guys. I was looking all over for information, going through some of my files, and I freaked out because a lot of my files from this case didn't get transferred to my new computer. So I'm going to have to do that. I'm going to have to send them all to my OneDrive and transfer them over. So I've got everything here. Summer Dawn, thank you for covering this, Willow. So glad you saw my messages. Yeah, and just by the luck of the draw, I went on to put something, and something about the two kids out in Nova Scotia that are missing. I had got word that there was another one missing just half an hour from me, that I was going to go out and show you guys the area. It was a little 3-year-old girl. Anyway, her mother ended up dumping her on the side of a major highway, the 417. And she was found along the edge of that highway. And it's like, oh my God, I know that highway well. I travel it a lot. And it's like the cars go by there at 140 kilometers an hour. And it's like, oh my God, what could have happened to that poor little baby? But anyway, they found her. 3 days later, they found her. But anyway, I was going to post about that. And then I seen that I had a comment, and it was like, Summer, aren't you at work? So I clicked on it. It's like, check your message. I went, oh my God, it's got to be something big for you to send me a message like that. So thank you, Summer. Because I've been trying to get rooms painted and spring cleaning done and all kinds of shit. I still don't have my new cameras up. I need a couple of days of sunshine so I can get them all wired properly and get them up there where I want them. And if I can get a couple of days without rain, that would be nice. Mother Nature, do you hear me? Mother Nature right now is bipolar. Yeah, the mother dumped her. The mother dumped her. Flybee says, thank you, Willa, for today's live. Sorry, I have to go run errands. I get you, hon. I've been trying to catch up on things that I've put off for months. I did 7 loads of laundry yesterday, in between doing outside work and inside work, in between the loads, to get every comforter, bed sheet, everything re-washed and then vacuum sealed so they smell nice come winter. So I like to do them in Gain or Fleecy or something like that with the sheets and everything, and then vacuum seal them in those vacuum seal bags and put them away for the summer. So I was doing all that yesterday, getting all my winter clothes washed up nice and put away for the summer, taking out of the vacuum seal bags all my summer clothes. So I'm trying to get everything done and caught up here, you guys. I may try and do the live mini reads tomorrow. So if you guys are interested in getting a mini read done, come and see me tomorrow. I'm going to try and go for 1 o'clock. I know Sundays aren't great for people, but I'm going to try and get mini reads done tomorrow at 1. I was hoping to do them Thursday, Friday, but things came up. So tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern. If you guys want your very own mini read, come and see me. 1 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing the live mini reads tomorrow afternoon, 1 p.m. Eastern time. Come see me. So with that being said, you guys, I think we're going to wrap it up. There's not really much more. If anything, I do have the link now to the documents and everything. When he is brought back, he's being extradited back to Colorado. So when he's arraigned and everything else, we'll be covering all of that. So I'll grab a read. Yeah. So with that being said, gonna wrap it up, you guys. I want to thank each and every one of you for being here. My mods, thank you so much. You guys rock. Tube Crime, let me know if you find out, because to me this is confusing about the pool camera. Can we restream that? I don't know. Anybody that can find that out, let me know in the comments below. And don't forget, I'm going to tag, as soon as we're done this live, I'm going to put Tube Crime's link in the description. Go and give him a like and subscribe to his channel. You're going to find it interesting and somewhat entertaining. Okay? So with that being said, you're very welcome, You're very welcome, everybody. Thank you, mods, for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here. If you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell, set it to all, so you're made aware when I go live, when I do updated reads, and when I bring stuff like this. You never know when something's going to happen. So if you got your subscribed, you got your notifications on, you're going to get notified. Okay? So with that being said, you guys, please take care of yourselves. Please stay safe. Always be aware of your surroundings.